You know that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but the one area that with the advisory board, John used to think these boards were worthless, but at one time, the county would listen to our recommendations within 5 miles of the city limit.
Not anymore.
Right.
And every time that the advisory board and the city council agreed to something in good support and didn't go one person running down the county before the decision was made and say, hey, we're dealing with it, it seemed to be more influence from the city back in those days, John.
There was.
I don't know what has occurred since then, and if we're not going to get this control, because there's not a lot of things on the plate. And
well, your boss used to be in Bowie all the time. As the Paris Glendenny was here all the time.
Sure.
Jack Johnson was never here. Or if he was, I missed him.
Yeah, he once a year.
And Wayne was not.
Wayne was not.
He didn't campaign out here, and
Wayne did not like Bowie.
there was a political three-way that was going on in that primary back then. And Wayne had to go as, how we say, I'll use the right word. He had to be as aggressive as he could be, and it just didn't fit in with the Bowie
it didn't fit in with Bowie.
swim club. You know,
these guys forget, John.
Yeah.
They get more tax money out of us than the rest of the county. The whole rest of the county.
We're the biggest ticket, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. But it's
and we ain't getting much back for it.
Well, it is. Hopefully, there'll be some kind of. Well, our current council, I think they got 5 rookies on that one.
Yeah.
So and you got 4 that are in the end of their terms. You know, they're going out.
Right.
You know, at the beginning of the end.
Then you've got there's one there that can just sit.
I'm not real excited about that group. They've got to show me yet.
I'm not either.
What they can do.
Yeah.
And at this particular time, they've got to be exceptionally communicative in the positive way. Every one of them is going to count.
Well, let me give you an example of something really important. It affects me directly. You know where I live.
Sure.
That corner lot, Beaverdale and Bel Air. Well, the guy that lives there wants it subdivided so he can build 3 houses. 3 houses. That's the intersection where the kid was killed. Now, Turner is the only one that's going to have any influence on getting this kiboshed. Right. And, I don't see her big involvement in Bowie.
Yeah, well, but that should never fly.
No, it shouldn't fly. It's going to establish a horrible precedent if it's approved. But it isn't even up to us.
There's a few exceptions they've made over the years, and I know some people have violated with fence coming here and there, but they've all been in compliance with the city stuff. That, I understand, when it was originally plotted, was plotted as a single lot.
Yeah.
From what I understand.
It's the same as mine, except I have a hill and he doesn't. Mm-hmm. That's the only difference.
Yeah.
All the houses all the way down to Bel Air to the end of the Bel Air Drive, they're all hill. Yeah. They have the same amount that he has.
Mm-hmm.
But he wants to put 2 houses on there in addition to the one that already exists. That's ridiculous.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Let me get to another area, and this is a development that is going positively right now, and our waning moment, 10 minutes to go, and I'd like to talk to you, John, about the area, and knowing you so many years of work with developers, and the Gould property up in
Samuel Ogle fencing.
Well, I know Zanecki spent more time in Bowie than the county executive.
Yeah.
Your partner. Mm-hmm. But the one thing is this Gould property up in Laurel. It seems to be that they've settled their dispute with the state, taking some of the property. It's one of the biggest potential development properties, probably in the Northeast now, not just Maryland. But it's moving along, and it's got some relationship with the highway.
That's the Kingdon Gould's tract.
Yeah, Gould.
But Laurel has its own zoning authority.
No, it's outside the city limits.
Yeah, it is outside the city.
But it's a tremendous area, and it used to be just excavation dump when I went out there and met the Gould years ago. And they're finally getting to a point there might be some possibilities there. But do you think if they do move along, John, the economy as it is the time to really get that project off the ground again?
That project's been around for 30 years at the least.
Yeah.
I heard a bit back when we were in office, and they've resolved that the county connector, that's what's causing all this because it really couldn't accept the developments without regardless of whether or not you like the inter-county connector, it does provide the access you need. You can't just dump 8,000 homes on an area and not have a major arterial through it. But the best thing about Prince George's County in the future is they're never going to move us away from Washington. They can't do that. They can't pick us up on a hydraulic lift and take us across the Chesapeake. We're always going to be here. And I think once we get off our backs on this most recent recession, BRAC's on its way in. I think they just announced about $300 million for BRAC funds that are in this budget that did not get cut, which are going to be spent to do transit around the hospital over in Bethesda. Folks are moving in now as we speak to Meade. And eventually it's going to hit everybody's consciousness that all these things are connected by the MARC line. Yeah. The rail line connects all the way up to Aberdeen, all the way down to, of course, Union Station. And it's, in essence, we have another subway line, which is that takes you to northeast of Baltimore. So I think that bodes well if anything's on the horizon, BRAC hitting our shores finally.
Years ago, there was a movement, you remember, to annex Bowie to Anne Arundel County. It's a damn shame it didn't go through.
John was behind that.
No, I wasn't actually. No, I wasn't. Today it would be a different story.
Neither was I. Even though I would have been the closest guy in, the first guy in.
That's true.
You're right.
But it's going to be. I think Rashern's going to get his legs under him. I think the council's going to get. Rashern's coming out of being a conventional legislator, which has a certain set of rules, to being the guy in the guy in the huddle that everybody's looking at. Well, you got to run the show differently when they're all looking at you in the huddle. And someone's going to be mad, and someone's going to not like you, and someone's going to miss a block.
Speaking of the state legislature, how do you think they did this term?
I think the tax, they got to tax somebody, and you might as well raise a tax that has been raised since Eisenhower was in. So, I mean, I know the local, everybody, moan and groans, a 50% increase. It's a 3% increase in the actual tax. So that's good. You got to fund these things. The schools, usually you say, schools need more money. Schools need more money. Schools need another way to go. I think they need Gates or somebody to come in, not Secretary of Defense.
You're right, management. Got to be better managed.
My son, who's now getting out of law school and with a master's, he's finally getting out, went to Hopkins, went to Bowie. When he left Bowie, he didn't know how to work a computer. And I said, oh my God, you don't even know how to do Word? And this is now, of course, 8 years ago. But
still.
And it's not that wasn't a bright kid, it's just that there wasn't, they had like 3 computers in high school or whatever they have now. But they finally got around to it. I've finally seen a movement to start kids out when they're in the first grade. They have a terminal. Now it's not necessarily going to launch a rocket, but it's getting them friendly and they can get on the internet.
Computer literate.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the answer. I think that's going to be our salvation and our economic proximity to the city of Washington is going to be. The other thing that gets us into the next.
So, do you think we'll survive?
The Japanese thing, or do you think it's going to? I don't think the radiation is going to get to us, but no, I think the state O'Malley's in a swan song, and I don't, that's going to change the atmosphere. I think it got a little knock in the knees there at the end. The same-sex marriage thing was a kind of a classic political flip-flop, which seemed to have come of its time. Let's get this done.
They made a religious
issue. It turned into a religious thing, and that's, of course, what they shouldn't do. I mean,
so it's unconstitutional.
You're not supposed to vote your religion. You're supposed to vote your intellectual of the facts. But on the other hand, when a whole bunch of your constituents call and read you out They're politicians. They're going to respond.
They organize.
Yeah,
The black church is organized specifically.
It's a very big, up in Baltimore City too. They lost a lot of, I think Talmadge Branch was just one of the major guys in the General Assembly, and he switched on it. And I think they made their statement this year. The religious people made their statement. It's a thing. It's gonna happen.
It's just happen, for God's sake.
You know, we might as well not allow a female to be in the legislature. You know, it's just those days are
That might not
behind.
be such a bad idea.
Obviously, someone who doesn't represent the General Assembly very much.
District of Columbia has
Has what?
the sex marriage. District of Columbia.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah. And 2 other states.
Absolutely.
And that's pretty low because
there's more than 2.
Oh, they are?
Oh yeah.
I thought there was only 2. But anyway, the point is, with the organization and what they did, they then just seemed to back up here in Maryland. And the bottom line still is, no matter the organization who it is, that delegate and senator has to respond to their constituent. That's what they're there for. So if it was something else.
Well, Jim Hubbard, bless his soul, I never could imagine me in my life praising Jim Hubbard, but he's voted for it.
Okay, see there? He responded to his constituents and contacted him.
Yeah. Well.
And the difference was it was through the organization of the churches. No doubt about that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's like religious tolerance. It's like abortion rights. It's a societal thing that has to resolve until, as a legislator, you can feel comfortable in saying, "Well, look, guys, you know, this is where everybody really is.
Yeah.
So I'm going this way." And you tick them off. You tick off a smaller group. Society's got to evolve so that group gets smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
It's a fairly good-sized group that's upset.
No, I mean the opposition to it gets smaller and smaller.
Oh, yeah, right.
You know, the ones who don't think same-sex marriage is a good thing. It used to confuse me, I have to confess. I used to think, well, what's going on here? What can you not do that you could otherwise do if you and I were in a business deal together?
Sure.
And there are other things. There's the Social Security benefits and survivors' rights. And
Human
all those
dignity.
things.
The biggest problem, the difference in the thing that really pressured so many people on this issue was the children of marriages. And this is where the religious person tells me that, can you imagine your mother is your parents? And that really hits some nerves with people. And no doubt changed the religious thing.
Well, on that note, we have reached the wrap. It was fantastic having you here again.
Nice being had.
Looking forward.
Okay.
Looking forward to you coming and giving us a future report, John.
Appreciate it.
Been great. Appreciate you being here.
You got it.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you.